All right. So I've been getting people, they're like, yo, you need to, those people, right? So one thing that they've been saying is, or some people have been saying is, hey, you know, there's power in the scripture, right? Got a lot of people wanting to convert me to be biblical or religious, and I never have. So you have seen in the last few weeks me referencing some Bible quotes, because what I'm learning about who I'm talking to is that, I'm in the etymology. So I speak using English. Let me tell you what we're going to cover today. We're going to cover the new trend of the use of the word leech and the concept of leeching. And we're going to break this down for you. All right. We're going to go church. I figure if I call it church, maybe more people will be entertained by the message. Because when I call it truth, well, we know what happens when you tell someone what the truth is. All right. So let's see if we get some better responses for the community's benefit with a different word, right? For all the believers out there. Okay. Now, I use English, right? What do you mean, Pasha? I mean, here's an etymology dictionary, not a regular dictionary. The regular dictionary is giving you the bullshit ass lies, right? So in order to know what words really mean, you got to go and get you into some sort of etymology, all right? And go back and get the original meaning. Because one of the biggest things that's going on right now is that people don't know what they're praying for or know what they're focusing on if they're using the law of attraction, because they don't know what the words mean, right? So they're thinking they're getting something other than what they asked for. Like me, for example, people are like, Pasha, your network is small. You don't have much support. Your dollars are running out. You're losing things. And I'm like, you know what? I accept that. Because what I asked for was to be surrounded by and build a network of real people that understand the reality. So that has been a several year long process of taking me from the vast network that I had, the vast people wanting to be around me, the vast people, what you would say, leeching from me. And it whittled it down to nothing, pretty much, right? Very little in comparison, okay? Because that had to be done. It has to be done so that there's room and space for the replacement of everything with what matches the frequency. And that happens in your life too, if you think about it. All right. So when you know the truth, you don't look at things the same way. Like, I'm not emotional. It's always the perfect day. We had cars. We get rid of cars. We lose cars. We get another car. That's life. You had a chick. Don't work out. You get another chick. Right? Whatever it is. So for you that you're maybe emotionally attached to, when you don't have the emotional attachments, you're freer in life. All right. So let's get into, now that we're 4 minutes and 47 seconds in, let's get into what prompted this. So, guess you can't really see that, huh? Maybe that's better. Yeah, that's better. So I blocked out the name like I do most of the time because if you're on my Facebook page, then obviously you can go check this out. What I found is that people, even offline, here's what goes on with people. They get upset or they feel some type of way, even if they don't publicize it or let me know. Because what I've been doing in life is studying society, systemic problems that exist in its current state. And then I'll be looking for the remedy for it. So if and when I'm talking to people, even if it's on the street and passing, and they say something from their perspective, and I say, to me, I'm like, oh, that's part of the insanity factor, or oh, that's the disorder. And I don't mean anything by them. What I mean is that society and the environment has programmed them to have that perspective. Now, my question is, what percentage of society feels the same way? Oh, now I'm looking at that. Oh shit. This is what causes this in society. This is what causes that. Okay. Now, if we fix that, we can solve these other 27 things that people don't know that that's the actual origin of the problem. So if I share something with you personally, offline, we're talking, and I tell you, well, this is what it is. What happens to many people that aren't prepared mentally is they feel like you talking shit about them. Because if you're telling the truth, and the truth is this needs to be this, but they not that, now they feel like you talking about them because they didn't look at themselves as being a part of the truth in certain fashion. Because they have emotional attachments to variables, not the full equation. So they get offended and then they want to, try to create the same feeling for you that they felt because of their ignorance when you gave them the truth. But the difference is they can't do it to you truthfully because I'm okay with the truth. It's omnipresent. It is what it is. So what they have to do, because they don't get the reaction out of me, is they need to go and fabricate shit, and then they spread that out instead. People I don't even know what's going on out there, right? I know stuff's going on, but it's cool. Just like you, right? But the thing is, that's what they're doing. They're trying to get the reaction out of you that they felt, not knowing that you're okay with the truth. All right. So here's what it is. And I don't know this person also, so I didn't really want to put it out into the world. Facebook is, Facebook, but so here we go. You got to be careful when people know you're a giver. You attract leeches. And to be honest with you, this is about the fourth time I saw this in the last 7 days. Not this exact phrase, but the use of the word leech. And I just was like, you know what? Here's a good example of what happens when we have emotional attachments to a variable without consideration of the full equation. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to compare and contrast that with, hold on now, you guys know I ain't biblical, I ain't churchy, but I'm going to give you this scripture or this passage or this code from the Bible, right? Maybe I should start calling it codes. I think that would work for me. Like if I started calling it codes, like the United States Code Title 18, Section 31, you know what I mean? That might work better for me. I'll just start calling them codes, all right? So the code we're going to be looking at today is 1 Corinthians. What is it? 1 Corinthians 17 through 23 or something? Oh, excuse me, 12 through 27. There we go. All right. I knew I had it somewhere here. All right. So now, what does this look like, right? Let's look at what the actual word means, because that's where we go wrong. We go wrong because we don't know what the words are. Okay? So when people hear the word leech, of course, for many people, the first thing that comes to mind is the blood-sucking worm. Now, not started at the exact same time, but as you can see here, slightly thereafter, but not totally not related to the origin of the blood-sucking worm term. You can see that there was also a second usage of the word leech in a separate tributary that was physician. It was physician. And, you know, so that means this is why the same actions may be done by two different people. And because their intent were different, the success or the outcome was different. Right? Like, just, you probably read at some point in history or studying something in school that they used to use leeches at a point in time in the past medically, or an attempt to be medical, to heal the body. But the word itself was also physicians, the healer. So what that brings us to is a fork in the road, that if we only associate with one form of the word or action, then there lies where our communities miss huge opportunities due to emotional attachment to beliefs without complete knowledge of. So you're gonna see somebody come to you every day. I'm going to break down how you overlook what leeching really is, and how many of you are a leech yourself, but you may not want to hear it like that. That's why I had to call it church, so it don't hurt your feelings. Type amen, Amun Ra, whatever's good for you. Alhamdulillah, okay? In the comments. All right, so if you don't know what the word or the action really is, you could overlook the opportunity. Okay? When you go to work, do you work for free? Would work appreciate it if you worked more for free? Let's talk about leech. Okay? Like if someone says part of the reason why they like you is because you make them laugh. We've talked about this here before on Y97. Would you call them a leech? Would you say they're leeching off of you? Because on the surface they enjoy laughter, and you I guess you pretty funny, and they say they like you because one of the things they like about you is that you make them laugh. Would you call them a leech? See, you probably wouldn't, because you don't. The hardest part of having any wisdom is constantly remaining disciplined to the knowledge. See, that's why a lot of people don't like to be around people who adhere to the truth full time, because they realize how hypocritical they are. And when they feel like they're being a hypocrite, then they don't want to be around you, because you're the only one that exposes that side of them, even if it's just to themselves. So you're the only one that makes them feel what they've been trying to hide and avoid from everybody else in their hypocrisy. That's why I'm transparent with shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it is what it is. I know why I'm going through this, because I'm fighting to change the world. If I was fighting to be like you or them, we were fighting to be like them, it wouldn't be this way, right? It'd be different. So, but when that person makes them laugh, right? what you gotta realize is they're leeching off of you for their own drug addiction. What do you mean, Pasha? Well, laughter causes the stomach ache after a certain period of time because you're contracting the muscle and the brain goes, oh shit, starting to feel pain. Let me secrete the painkiller from the brain that's equivalent to morphine. So they laugh, ha 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 ha, and then after so long, the brain releases basically morphine into the bloodstream, and now their pain goes away. Even before they realized that they were feeling pain from the laughter. So they think they're enjoying the laughter, but in reality, they've been gaslighted all week. They're dealing with narcissistic people. They're fighting for fake fiat currency, and they're wondering why they feel like shit. They are disingenuously codependent upon so many things in their life that they're fake most of the time. They know it, try to hide it, causes them pain, and now you're making them laugh. All of that goes away for them because the morphine drip kills the pain from the brain. And that's why once you get serious with life with certain people, and you say, I want our relationship to be focused on doing something in the world or achieving this or doing that. Oh, we're not having fun anymore. Or was one taking the world and its problems seriously? See? Because when they go to the public and say, oh, you're whack and he or she this and that and the other, blah, blah, blah. They didn't tell you that, what it is that you a real motherfucker and they play too much. They gotta say it how they gotta say it to make them look good instead of just telling what the truth is. Be truthful about it because the truth is omnipresent. It exists. All is part of what's true. Just admit your role. You admit your role when you go to work. What do? Oh, I'm a nurse practitioner. You admit that role then. So admit the role that, you know what, I don't even be trying to really do shit but laugh and joke, and they were just on a serious mission, and we had a little boom boom boom, but it got on my nerves because they were always so serious. They always kept it so real, and it fucked with my fakeness. I mean, say that shit. Admit you're rolled in, right? But how many people do that in life, right? So let's move on. All right, what I got next for you? So basically, leeching depletes life, or it gives life to the entire body based on its intent, just like cocaine or a gun in certain applications. And that's where we get to 1 Corinthians. Let's take a look at that. So, unity and division of the body. I have no affiliation with any church or biblical standings or religion, and I just picked searched the Corinthians I wanted here, picked this one. So don't come at me about New Testament, Old Testament, this version, that version. Get your own translation, do what you want to do, but here's what the core value is, right? Just as a body. Oh, let me get on the screen for you. That would help, right? Okay. So, just as the body, though one has many parts, but all its many parts from the body, so it is with Christ. For we are all baptized by one Spirit, so as to form one body, whether Jews or Gentiles, slave or free. And we were all given the one Spirit to drink. Even so, The body is not made up of one part but many. Now, right there, you've heard me go over this before on Y97. This is why I'm really concerned with people who say they aren't connected with God, because even though they may be calling it God, capital God, which we know here is the branded, commercialized version of the word, but that's another story that we've covered. Check those videos out. The thing is, whatever you think you're talking about is omnipresent, which means that it's connected in all. So if you feel like you're not connected with the omnipresence, I'm wondering what kind of insanity do you recognize as insanity? It's very dangerous for someone to feel like they're not connected to something that's omnipresent. Like what and where are you then? Right now in this moment. But they'll tell you something's wrong with you because it makes them feel better. Let's continue with this Corinthians. Now, if the foot should say, because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason stop being part of the body. And if the ear should say, because I'm not an eye, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason stop being part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would the sense of hearing be? If the whole body were an ear, where would the sense of smell be? But in fact, God has placed the parts in the body, every one of them, just as he wanted them to be. If they were all one part, where would the body be? As it is, there are many parts, but one body. So when you see the person who appears to be the success, where's their body? The interaction between them is leeching. Is it leeching as a physician or leeching as a blood-sucking worm? We're going to cover that more when we get to the employer-employee relationship in a moment. The eye cannot say to the hand, I don't need you. And the head cannot say to the feet, I don't need you. On the contrary, those parts of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable. And the parts of the body we think are less honorable, we treat with special honor. And the parts that are unpresentable are treated with special modesty. While our presentable parts need no special treatment. But God has put the body together, giving greater honor to the parts that lacked it. You know what I mean? Like what they say, while our presentable parts need no special treatment. But y'all, so many people spend millions of dollars on presentable parts, right? And judge you for not. We're going to get to that. So that there should be no division in the body, but that its parts should have equal concern for each other. If one part suffers, every part suffers with it. If one part is honored, every part rejoices with it. See, this is the part. See, this is why I have a difficult time with a lot of people who call themselves certain titles like Christian and religious factors and stuff like that, because they don't realize how hypocritical they are. They want to throw the Bible at you when it's convenient for them. And the other 98% of the time, they just live in a hypocrisy life. That's not having a connection with God. That's just who you really are. Right? But when you share that with them, then they want to go back to throwing God at you. Oh no, God, get it away from me. And God this and God that. No, you. Right? But here we go. So let's get to this, right? Because what's really interesting about this is, let me get my notes. I wanted to make sure I got this all in order for you so it makes sense. So what happens to the body, right? What happens to the body if the lungs say they don't want to send oxygen to the feet? What happens to the body if the lungs say they don't want to send oxygen to the feet? Right? Who can answer that for me? So the question is with that is, what is your body? Who or what are your lungs, or the lungs in that situation? What is the oxygen? Who or what is the feet in your equation? Who or what is the feet in your equation? See, what we do is we celebrate taking the life away from parts of the body that aren't us, whatever we think that we are, thinking that it's going to enrich us. Or we don't like this, or we don't like the way he did that, or he said this, so we gonna do this. Not realizing that truth is, and by thinking it would enrich you, you actually took life away purposely from one part of the body. You came together and you said, we're gonna do this. It's like the heart, the hand, and the arm said, we're gonna do this to the feet. But by doing that to the feet, it actually took the life away from the body. So you starve the feet because you thought you didn't need the feet. This is why Pasha feed everybody, right? When Pasha was running around putting what y'all call funds into everything, oh, it was great. Nobody said anything about it then. You still didn't broadcast how great that was when he's dropping off notebooks or food or whatever it was. But as soon as one day he said no, oh, now and then we can put that around the world. That's how they do you, right? Pasha didn't show up. Pasha didn't do this. Well, no, Pasha gave everything he had until he had nothing else, and then y'all turn your backs on Pasha. That's how they do you, right? That's what emotional attachments are. You see, look at this picture, right? The figure, the chains is bounded. That's the emotional attachment. It's the dual nature of it. Because you're chained to this, you feel great, but look, it's also chaining you to it, which means you're not flexible enough to be anything but that. This is why people have to leave you alone when you're truthful, because you expose the hypocrisy. They don't want to seem fake, even though by definition they are being fake. So people judge you. The figure in the background is the distance that symbolizes the disconnection, right? So that's what's going on in various ways in society. So leeching, let me get you the image up here. Leeching is a two-way street. Leeching either depletes the life to the entire body, or it provides life to the entire body based on the intent, although the actions may appear the same. Right? So what happens when you look at the employer relationship? And yeah, I gave the example earlier about the laughter. That could be whatever situation you want. Laughter, comfortable conversation. Or when you're smart, or they want to call you smart, which I hate that word, it's experience and exposure. When you have skill sets or your certain intangibles, they come to you for it then when they recognize its value for what they want, right? Here's the fork in the road. And you say, oh, okay, cool. Based on the equation and this, that, the other, boom, 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 the trajectory and everything, bam, this is what you need. Oh, great. They go do that. Oh, that was amazing. Do they tell anybody that you helped them to success? Who knows? But most often we know they're going to keep that quiet because they want to be seen as the face, right? Oh, they can't tell you that they got help in the background. You know what I'm saying? So transparency is key. That's why even I started this video like, hey, look, I am inspired by my life. The things I come across in my walks and my journey inspire me to create. I'm not sitting up here talking about, I came up with this all by myself and I thought this, that. No, here's the source. Here's what this is. Here's that. The word authority, the etymology is the book or the quote that settles the question. Been saying it to you for a long time. It's never the person. It's never the flesh. All right. So it could be anything as far as y'all interactions, y'all relationship, but you're leeching off of each other because that's what you were designed to do. How do you make it a negative thing? Now someone shows up and says, because when you show up to the workplace, let's get into that. Right? Did you know, did you know it's recommended to allocate 5 to 10% of your monthly take-home income, for those that believe they have income, on clothes? Did you know it's recommended to allocate 5 to 10% of your monthly take-home income on clothes? Now, when you work in certain jobs, you got a uniform. When you're maintenance, maybe you're maintenance tech, they give you a uniform, but they charge you for it in your pay, and they probably are charging you, they're probably providing you a cleaning service for it that maybe picks it up from work for you, go cleans it, brings it back, whatever. But they still require you to dress a certain way. And then, like I said, they may be charging you to clean it, and they giving it to you as a benefit, like, oh, it saves you this amount of money because we're going to. But it is recommended to allocate 5 to 10% of your monthly take-home income on clothes. If you're working business casual, there are people that they don't get it, but they're psychologically like, there's something wrong. I ain't gonna say something wrong. They value putting on a button up. Makes them feel like they're somebody. Right? But that's not who they really are most times. Like, go on the business networking site, look at the people in their profile pics. Go on LinkedIn, go on Facebook, look at the people in their profile pics with a suit on. I have a suit. But then when you see them, they sitting there with a t-shirt. Why? Because they couldn't fucking wait to get out of the damn suit and get comfortable with who they really were. Why not just build your life around being who you are instead of being who you think you should be for leeching purposes? Right? Hold on. I got some numbers for you. These are really interesting numbers. I did this because I was going to use it for marketing, but I'll share it with you here now. Hold on. All right. So, interesting points, right? From a monthly take home, which we just said this earlier, but here's the numbers. From a monthly take home of $2,500, they're telling you should set aside $125 to $250 for workwear. 7% of your income should be what you use when building a work wardrobe from scratch. So if you make $100,000 a year, they're telling you just to start the work, you should spend $7,000. We'll build on that, the rest later. So if you make $100,000 a year, they're telling you should spend $7,000 just to start the wardrobe. All right, just to start it, and then the monthly keep going and building more and building this and getting that and getting that. Keep spending. Right? This is why they mad at you, like me. Like, when I remember when I used to work at Discover. It used to be business casual. Times were really different in my life then. And I was doing some different things. But I used to get up and go to the mall every day and buy what I was gonna wear that day. But it would be like, because I'm a bigger guy, obviously, right? So I needed a truer fit instead of that shrinking stuff and low quality stuff. So I might go and get a G Unit t-shirt, a Sean John, a Rockaware t-shirt, maybe even the button down, right? But it was because I really appreciated the size, and it was flyer gear and all that shit. So I may spend whatever I spend on that. The point of the matter is, I'm dressing casual. Like, I'm dressing me. And the work site was business casual. So I might go in there, get the t-shirt, get the new jean, a shoe, whatever it is, a sneak, whatever, a $50 Jeffrey Garcia tie, but I wrap it around my head, have it hanging down the side like a bandana, and that's how I go to work. I'm straight from the Ave, you know what I'm saying? One day they come over and say, "Hey, look, you're not business casual dressed." And I'm like, "Okay." I start packing up my shit. They go, "What you doing?" I said, "Aren't you going to send me home then?" No. That's when I learned that when you're the specialist, it don't matter what you look like. And what they did is they went and got me a whole roll of casual day stickers. You used to have to do something to accomplish that. And then you get a casual day sticker, and They might have had like a casual Friday or something every once in a while, or a regular, and then you could wear your sticker on another day of the week and be casual if you wanted to. I never worried about none of that shit. My highest month there was 1,069% gold. So I'm coming in how I want to come in. But they said, here's a casual day sticker roll. If anybody say anything, like a whole roll, not just one, but a whole roll. So if anybody say anything, just pull out a sticker. Throw that in your drawer. So, but the point of the matter is, now these people spending $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a year. No wonder they mad at you because you only spent, like me, I spent $700 at the time on this jacket. Now, why would you do that, Pasha? Well, I had worked with a shirt company, like a t-shirt business. I helped them out a little bit with some process optimization on off the strength, just helping out the community. And I might gave them a couple $100 and as an investment. Told them, this is an investment in your business and your brand. I think I got like 1 or 2 t-shirts and left it as that. Because that's how I do. I be investing in the community. People might look at it like they got over or they did something. Nah, I did that. You know what I mean? They may feel whatever they feel, but that's the Most High. See? But people that may be out there right now talking shit about me, they don't tell you those parts. They don't tell you those parts. But the point of the matter is, when I got this, I was like, okay, I helped out the t-shirt company down here, the t-shirt printer. I got some peoples I actually went to school with back up top. They struggling to get their little thing popping. You know what? Let me collab with them and help take their brand to the next level. I was already working with them on some process optimization and helping them get the mentality of how to approach certain things together. And I was like, let me just invest in you, get this. I'm going to design the jacket and you produce it. That's going to be our collaboration. And you'll get to display the work and come up off of that. Like, this is how I move through the community. But they don't tell you that part. So all this is custom. All these pieces that are individual. It's not painted. This is real little things. This is like metal, and each one is individually, into the fabric. It's not glued on. So me being from production, the manufacturing world, I know what it takes to produce something, and I rewarded the people that do stuff for me my whole life, plus tip. I mean, we don't even talk now, but that's how life works. Because again, when you're in the moment and they value what they want from you, everything's great. What they don't realize is when you say, like a person like us, when we say something to them that they don't like, they don't realize that it's coming from the same equation for the variable factor that they did appreciate. They don't see that the same you that gave them the solutions they wanted is the same you that's offering them the stuff that they don't want about themselves, because the same truth applies. So they blame you for them not being able to understand what truth is. Or in other words, God is omnipresent. And they're disconnected from that, which is dangerous. So I brought that up to say, like, when you go to work, right? Work is exploiting and taking advantage of people. You would say it's easy. The relationship between an employer and employee is an exchange of labor and compensation. So like I said earlier, would you work for free? Would your job appreciate it if you did 4 hours a day for free? No. Don't pay me. I got you. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a brand that gets grants to help community small businesses. There was someone that was homeless, wanting to start a business, didn't have any budget for their logo. I connected the two because the one that's getting the grant money does logos designs for free. Right? That's what they get the grants from the government for. How you gonna forget me? How you gonna forget that I'm the one that connected you for the purpose so that you could get in the position? Oh, it's easy. Because I told you my cost would have been this, and I know you couldn't afford it. I connected you with them to get the free logo to help the community. Now, we're not gonna talk about the logo or whatever. But what happens is they got their logo and they were ecstatic. The website, they were ecstatic because it was done free. Free is always amazing to people who want free or need free. Right? So the leeching factor is a two-way street, because what we know about the employer-employee relationship is it's based on these things. Professional, which we already covered. Professional is a religious cult. Not even being emotional or giving opinions. That's the other thing. People that aren't used to someone who operates solely on truth always want to call things your opinion or that's your truth, because they haven't done. They're projecting the fact that they don't know onto you, and they're assuming that because they don't know shit, you must not know shit either. But when you say, Pasha, why we ain't see you outside, it's because Pasha's in here getting to know shit, researching, learning. So when Pasha says something, Pasha know what he talking about. At the same time, that doesn't mean, or at the same time, I know that I don't know what I don't know. I just know what I know. But just because what you may not know and you're operating on emotional attachments based on beliefs doesn't mean that that's the same thing Pasha's doing. But they'll feel that way about you because it makes them easier. It's easier for them to digest, right? So professional is a religious cult. Contractual is an agreement, and interpersonal relationship portions of this employer-employee workplace situation. That's the three categories, you guys: contractual, professional, and interpersonal, which is individual. So basically, you're speaking about the individual agreement of religious cult and you. That's why it's like, oh, okay, I agree to dress business casual, or I agree to this, or I agree to that. I agree to travel and do 50% of my life work life running around the country in traffic and flights. I agree to that. That's going to be our religious cult agreement, our version of it. Your profession. So then as soon as they get in there for a while and they start to realize, fuck, man, this shit sucks. Oh, now the company's taking advantage of you. Nah. That's not what Pasha said. Pasha said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to change it. We're going to make it better. We're going to make it more what it needs to be. Here's the justification for why we're going to make these changes. See, I've never been the one that sits around, talks and complains to you behind their back. I'm the one that says, let's sit down and have a meeting with them. That's the difference. I go to the source. A lot of people in your lives, they look at you in your eyes and they keep their mouths closed. And as soon as you're out of sight, they got all this shit to say about you. Anything I've posted about, talked about, said about, if they were true, they would tell you I said it to them directly. before I ever shared it with anybody. That's truth. Because see, what they like to do is they want to run behind your back and tell, oh, don't say nothing to them. Now, remember those chains, right? They come to you, talk shit about somebody. Oh, don't say nothing to them though. Now you chain to that relationship, that person in the distance, right? That's actually the person you really need. Like we the mentality, we the people that the community really need to be in position, but they got everybody emotionally attached to keep us distant. So they chain to the emotional bullshit. We distant, and then they wonder why the community failing. And they wondering why they being, why North Carolina personal freedoms fell from 13th to 33rd, because the shit that we saying would have kept it going up. But if the freedom becomes elevated, then control is reduced. Thus, the people in power basically don't have as much control and power over you. So, of course, let's get them to believe in their heart and believe their heart is theirs that we gave them, and we're going to keep them distant from the people in the community that are actually capable of inducing change. Because we know these people aren't. They're followers. They're not thinkers. They're weak. They just want to go along to fit in. They're not going to do nothing different than what we tell them. They're going to go, and they know, here's where they know you're just going to go behind their back like you do the boss at work and talk shit about them to the coworkers, but you're never going to stand up and say, let's do something different. See, that's why they want the Pashas up out of here. Church say amen. Amun-Ra. Alhamdulillah. Whatever it is for you. See? So, let's get back to that. So they're paying you minimum wage or any wage. And you might think, you might take so much pride in making your little $60K a year, right? And feeling like whatever. You done worked on your credit score. You see what I'm saying? Fuck all that shit. You know what I mean? Like, because they paying $700 for a Lexus a month, they feel like they're going to hate on you when you pull up in your Benz, because they don't realize you paying $301 a month for your Benz. Because all they know is their Lexus was $700. So oh my God, what are they paying for that? No, I'm paying $301 for it. I don't care about the Benz. I care about doing 120 miles an hour when I want to, like all the time. And Mercedes was winning F1 races. Their technology was there. Pasha, why you not a felon? Because I've been in 4 police chases and I got away. Except for the one I stopped because we were all good. Okay? So I value speed and performance. I don't have the resources to buy the McLaren right now, or to buy the Bentley GT Continental Speed at this moment. So that Mercedes for $301 a month was my equivalent to that. But then people want to hate on you because, oh my God, my Lexus is $700 a month. What are you paying for that? We gotta do something about that. Again, starving the feet, starving the brain, because the rest of the body feels like they don't need them to be equal. Right? This is how it works, people. So they got their little 60K, but the company made $2.1 million off of your actions that year. Gave you $60,000. See, but you went in, and because you don't know no better, you negotiated your 60 grand and felt like you didn't feel like a leech, but you're leeching because they were giving out jobs. They were giving out paychecks. They were giving out work. And you are a leech. You leech for the job, you leech for the hours, you leech for the pay, you leech for the benefits. You know, you're out here talking shit about someone who don't have vision and glass care, or because they don't have health care. Why? Because they didn't leech as much as you did or the way you did. Oh, so you're just a better leech than them. Your leeching skills was greater, right? So because they're not a leech, you feel empowered, you feel enriched by your leechiness. I mean, if we call a spade, see, that's the thing. You can't be true without consideration of the infinity. So all of that's going on while the reality is the poverty line is still $80,000, probably more now, a year. So you doing all that bragging and boasting about your 60K and your $700 a month Lexus, and you need 2 people in your home to put food on the table, and you talking shit about the person who's doing 10 times as much as you by themselves. Because why? Because you're a better leech? Or because they're not leeching, period? Or they recognize that it's the same thing, so they're just doing what they need to do to get to here, to get to there, right? But you feel some type of way about it, so you feel whatever because you don't know any better. This is what keeps the community divided. Ignorance. Our people perish through the lack of knowledge. Another biblical quote there for you. Before we talk about leeching to each other, realize every action you did is a leech. Right? Resource depletion and distribution problems. Who controls your water? Who controls your heat? Who controls your electricity, your air conditioning? For those of you that got TVs, got cable, who controls what you see? They basically controlling what you know, right? But the point of the matter is, who controls your access to currency? Who controls your access to resources? Oh, now you get it. Now you get it. This is why they freely give resources to the people that's furthering to enslave you. And they fight so hard to restrict the resources from people who are looking to free you. This is why when you go back and look at the Michael Luther King situation and you study that, you realize that's why he has what you would call a holiday. Is because he was actually part of the CIA. His right-hand man was an agent, but they, whether he knew or not, they were leeching off of him, putting him in position so that they could leech off the public by putting everyone in the position of being checking boxes, admitting that they were property of the United States, whether they knew that or not. I don't care if you call yourself white, black, Latino, or what they call it on the paperwork, Hispanic, right? You check that box. That whole movement is what created that. Despite how you emotionally feel about it. And then when they were done, they got rid of him. Because he wanted to put it to another level by actually going and taking into banking for a certain group of people that they didn't want to be empowered and enriched in such fashion. But as long as you stay, what? Let me put it back on here. As long as you stay bound to the terms and conditions of your contract with your acceptance in a certain role or certain status, Oh, you can have it all. But the moment you want to empower people, here comes the rest of the body feeling like you shouldn't, and they got to do something to you, because they don't realize that starving you of life starves the whole body of life, because you're part of the body. And this is why you hear me making songs like Trust No Citizen. Because citizens don't realize that they are weaponized against America, because they don't even know that there's a difference between the United States and America. First of all, many of them don't. They still think that their feelings and their thoughts are their own because of this picture here. If you notice, the heart's not in the body, it's put onto the body and it's chained to the body. They think that that's their heart. They think that that's their feeling. And because of that, they can't go and be part of the distance. And that's why the word pagan means those outside the city limits, outside the markers, ones with markers. You're not part of this. You can't enjoy these benefits. So pagans weren't just the countryside. If you apply it to a state of mind, that's what's going on. Truth, knowledge, like I showed you on the other video, we'll close this out, is being attacked. Innovation and technology is being attacked because they don't want the community to be able to empower and support itself. So you take out the innovation and technology sector, production, and people, and now you have a society that can't think beyond whatever the thoughts you give them. So I know why I'm going through what I'm going through. You know what I mean? You can donate to the channel. That'd be great right now. Cash App, YNet7. And show your love, right? Ages 24 to 45, men and women. This is really good content for you. So let's take it to the next level. And thank you for tuning. Pasha Paroh, YNet7.